another topic that I think finally needs to be talked about. Other people might have, talked about it in various forms, but um, I've wanted for a while to make this video. I think it's about time I make it. Okay, so I'm on Warlock. Okay, obviously, not very oppressive, right? It's a stasis build for PvE. People see stasis as on no skill. Okay. Um, like anything involving stasis and things that just change the gameplay, we automatically go to no skill. Stasis, crutch, whatever, things are broken. It's obvious when things are broken, right? It's obvious when things are broken. But there's been, it's like people have forgotten there's been some light-based subclasses that were extremely broken, right? A little circle around the old Warlock subclass. Was saying a 2-minute vision. People don't call it that. People call it Nova Warp, but it's the 2-minute vision subclass for the Voidwalker. Another one that's been oppressive for a very, very long time. Arc webs, dude. Arc webs are insane. Chaos Reach. Modern Tree, not so much. You can teleport around with Top Tree. Solar subclass. Something that was broken. Top Tree. Really easy to use. You have a Celestial Fire, you can hit someone from a mile away and take off 3/4 of their health. That leaves them pretty much one shot to any gun. To a 120, to a body shot, to a sniper. Shotguns are a body shot within, it doesn't matter what range you're at. Only within their specified range. If you're in their specified range, it doesn't matter. You're dead if they hit their shots. And that's it. Let's into the Voidwalker. We're just doing subclasses. Stasis. It's obvious that the stasis subclass, people have said has absolutely no skill. And it's funny, something that shakes up the dynamic of the game. We know that there is a subclass coming in Witch Queen, right? It's going to be a poison-based subclass. People are thinking it's corruption, kind of like Thorn, which it's very, hive, green magic, poison, corruption. It's a really, really, really good assumption, and just thought out, not like a half-baked. Yeah. Okay. When people in PvP are going to complain about that. Thorn? What is Thorn really... Oh, dude, when you get that proc going, dude, what makes Thorn so good, it doesn't matter what recovery you have. It completely stops that for a few seconds after you've already, left the area from the guy that's using the Thorn, or gal. So, whether you get shot, and it's 3 to 4 seconds where it does not let you regen, right? Or 2 to 3 seconds. And then there's the seconds after that, where that's the normal kick-in start for the regen. And 100 seconds, yeah, it's 1 to 2 seconds. But that's 5 seconds total in a battle you're not regenning. Period. It's annoying. Incredibly annoying. Now imagine a subclass that does that. Right? You can't regen your health worth a dang, dude. Broken! This is... Oh, I hear it all the time. Now we're getting onto an infamous one. Stasis Hunter. Which was indeed broken. There is things in the game that are definitely broken. But as we have gone from D1 to D2, and I wasn't really much of a Crucible guy in D1. I wasn't. I hated it. I hated Crucible with a passion. I just hated Crucible. And then D2, I started wanting to get better at it. And D2 Crucible, year 1 was horrible, right? But then it got better, right? As all things, Bungie. Destiny 2 was made. Crucible in D1 was great, apparently. That was the best Crucible. You had your abilities and subclasses that were. It was and people don't know this, Activision was indeed the kind of like you can call it belt feeder for money for the for Bungie, right? So if you're giving a company money, you have some sway in the decisions. They were wanting to make it the next like Call of Duty, but with space magic. So they were wanting to make it like a where you see it all the time. Siege has these championships that people win thousands of dollars at. Right? That's what they were wanting to go with. We've seen Bungie on the, and it still could. Well, you know, it still could. Tourneys could still technically happen, championships, but the game would have to get better for Crucible. But as you see more variation come in, it started actually with revamping the subclasses, and somewhere in between, it was in between Forsaken, or maybe just it was at Forsaken. Um, there were several subclasses that were incredibly broken. But we could agree are broken, right? Um, Spectral Blades was one of them. You didn't see these two in Crucible at all. I mean, you did, but you saw all of these guys. I mean, the super lasted forever. Um, Arc Striders were annoying, but nothing really broken. Blade Brush, another one. Dude, I can't remember what the exotic is. Hold on, I think I have it in my inventory. I don't play Hunter, so that just should tell you something. No, I don't have it. Shards Gallimar, there it was. You put that on, and super for days, dude. Super for days. And it just was absolutely insane amount of damage. Like, it would, you could refill an entire Ursa super with hitting someone with if you blocked them with a Blade Brush. Blade Brush could be blocked by an Ursa super at any Sentinel that's not standing on the ground, like because of the knives magnitude behind the shield. You're not protected state at all. And then we got Stasis, Shatter Dive, which I honestly don't use, as you can see. There's no Shatter Dive. There is the dodging slows targets, but I don't like Shatter Diving. Even before the nerf. Why? Shatter Dive only gives you one slot. I mean, not one slot, two slots. This one right here gives me three. It gives me more variation of my gameplay, and I like that. But see, regardless, and I say it myself, I'm guilty of this. Um, um, I see guys spamming stasis, and sure, it's incredibly annoying to go through. Getting frozen, it's absolutely annoying. Um, but what actually takes skill in this game? What is skill? Are we talking gun skill? But see, that's going to be changed up because they're adding two more subclasses before the end of the next 3 years. And how much of those things are going to be broken? Or, as quote unquote, takes no skill. This game is completely moving away from the idea, and honestly, I think, and follow me into the rabbit hole for a second, I absolutely believe that this game is going to go through a round of 3 options. Okay? Oh, 4 or 5. We'll start with that. There's guidance skill. There's builds, right? Subclass usage, abilities. I think that's it. 4. Because I don't think of anything else. Heavy's really not even an issue. Because you only get that like once or twice a match. Oh no, that goes into builds. Never mind. Yeah, we'll set it forward. Right now, you could agree. There's gun skill. There's gunplay. Right. There is ability usage. There is supers, which supers are differ from ability. That's why I'm not counting in it. And then there's builds. Right. Builds is your armor. It's all of this. It's the tiers of energy that you have. Some people can get their grenades faster than others because of builds. It's going into... In D1, there was gun skill. You had supers. And maybe some ability, but it wasn't, I wouldn't even classify that. There's no builds, there was nothing. No variation. It was a very monotone experience, but the gun skill was on point, so everybody was happy. This game is moving away from the idea that I can just use my primary in a fight, because this guy can hit me from a mile away with a celestial fire. None of that being said, there's things that do need to be toned back. That's absolutely definite. There is definitely things that are definitely overtuned, like Stasis when it first launched. I mean, come on. Let's just think. I don't think supers need to be nerfed for PvE. If they nerf it. Period. The end. If you nerf a super, it should not be nerfed in PvE. All supers, light-based subclasses, should be buffed for PvE. Back to what they were in Forsaken when they first launched. As well as Stasis. PvE, they need to get bought back and then tuned over time. And because Bungie likes collecting data from that. And I think that's the best way to improve the PvE experience. Because PvE, you're going to see more builds, right? PvP, they should be toned down. Because it's player versus player. I mean, if you can sit there and abuse a certain trick repeatedly, and just give you an example of what a trick that it is. Most people, when they're using Le Monarch, this is the extent. You may see this combo occasionally. We'll throw the shotgun in there, right? You may see this combo, right? You've seen it before, Le Monarch, and yes, it keeps the poison. It's always a perfect draw, and you can hold it indefinitely. Okay, that's it. Most people just stop there. But once you dip into this, every time you get a grenade and freeze somebody, you get a one-shot capability to the weapon. Right there. And see, this is not even it. I can get 100 discipline. I use 100 discipline and... Where is it? There it is. I think that's it. There it is. There's not much mobility, as you see, and I'm not using Stompies, but there it is. There's my build. There's really high resilience. It's actually kind of funny. I don't think I have resilience mods. All my... See, my Hunter, I can just get resilience at the wazoo. Titan, I always have to struggle with it. I don't get it. But that's my build that I use to go flawless, and it was a really disgusting build. I will admit that. It was really oppressive. But it was not really broken. I mean, it is broken in the sense that I can get a one-shot, 53 seconds, and there's other ways I can speed that time up. There is dodging near enemies, restores all ability cooldowns. And I think I was using a void. I was using a void. Yeah, I was using this one. This one restores my dodge, so I can dodge more often near enemies, right? So, I mean, there is definitely builds that are cheesy, I would call it, but they do take a level of skill to use. Now, most people are going to scream at me when I say that, but it's the truth. With the Monarch, this build is only useful if I hit the head. Like, period. It is only useful if I hit the head. If I hit the body, I mean, sure, you can say you can body shot them to death because the poison, because it gets them close enough. But there's nothing like that crispy headshot, dude. It does take a level of skill to get the full effect of the build. Now, most things you don't require a headshot, like Jotun. I will definitely agree. There is weapons that there is little to no skill, and that's a few things. The Stasis, when was first launched, like I said, there is things that you could argue have absolutely no skill usage and that was stasis when you first launched. But those are the outliners. Those are the variables. Not the variables. The pink elephants, right? That occurs occasionally walk through the room. They're not. That's not the meta on all fronts, in every aspect. 120s are easy to use. Everybody can agree with that. I do think that range need to be dialed back a little bit, and then that'd be a good place. I think 140s range. I think the damage per pellet needs to be buffed up, because 140s definitely are a more skillful gun to use. There is things that are more skillful, but there's things that are less skillful. But there is still within this realm it will be called skill. And then you have the outliers like Arbalist, Bastion, Jotun. Jotun's never received a nerf. They said it received a tracking nerf. A skilled Jotun user can do things that I've never seen that you can do with the gun. The thing is one shot at any distance. Doesn't matter what distance. And people say, well, you can just dodge it. No. Jotun's tracking gets better the longer it goes. It misses up close. If you're up close with Jotun and rushing with it, unless you're really good with rushing with it, which I wouldn't do, you miss a lot. It's easy to sidestep. But if you're further away, the tracking almost gets better because you move, it takes time to adjust, but it's traveling to you, and it doesn't really travel that incredibly fast. Bastion, on the other hand, is absolutely toxic, and as well as Arbalist, that was nerfed, quote unquote. That completely removes any other term I would call skill in the game. To all you have to do is aim at someone's crotch, pre-nerf, and you would get a headshot. Which, funny that the bid is a headshot, but the point in the matter is the headshot is it's right here. It's not way down here, and the bullet magnetism brings it up as if you hit a headshot. As I can say, there is outliers that I would definitely say take little to no skill, and it could be stasis. But we're gonna move to the Titan subclass, and we're gonna check on the Titan. There is several things that were broken when they first released. Bottom tree, Arc Titan. People hated going against that. People hated it. Why? I'll tell you why. So bottom tree. Once you break an enemy's shields, you get increased melee damage, range, and damage. Damage to your weapons. So your potential to one-shot with a bow is literally all the time. Break their shields with a bow, you have a one-shot to any garden. Doesn't matter what their resilience is, it's a one-shot. That's still now, as I'm assuming. Maybe some variables in that, but yeah. Strike an enemy with its melee ability to reload your weapon, increase both your weapon stability and weapon damage. You get a kill with and then people pair this with Synthoceps because it's just amazing. Synthoceps increase your melee damage, and this just helps. And when you're surrounded, it's just amazing. So you get a kill. Again, one-shot body shot. There was also the length of this super back in, what was it, Forsaken? Would it last Forsaken? Before it was nerfed? I think it would last forever. You could literally go around the map. I mean, see, people are saying, "Oh, stasis is broken." There's a lot of light display subclasses that were broken. This has never been broken outside of the shoulder charge. In D1, you could one-shot somebody with a shoulder charge. In Survivable Skullfort, D1 gave you 2 charges. It didn't give you a continuous charge for 1. They changed it in D2, where it would restore your melee ability if you got a kill with it. Therefore, getting infinite shoulder charge. Then they nerfed that. Which, I mean, yeah, sure. Whatever. We're going to go to Ursa's. Ursa's lasted forever. Ursa's, if you compared that with you could get your super all the time, pop it, whatever, as long as you guard it. I wouldn't necessarily say it was broken, but it was incredibly annoying. There was, you can say it was annoying. I enjoyed it. As a Titan, you know, whatever. There's people that enjoy broken things. Hammers has never been broken. I just haven't. Uh, but this was. I mean, this, you could literally fly across the map like Superman. And it wouldn't like matter, like, period. Slide, everything about this super behemoth was pre-nerf for stasis was absolutely broken. I would definitely agree with that. It definitely required little to no skill. The movement on a Titan is nice, because you don't feel like a brick being moved by bricks as wheels. That's how it feels sometimes playing as a Titan. You feel like a brick on wheels made of bricks. This makes you feel like you're a brick, but you're on a hoverboard. And that was incredibly nice, and that's why a lot of people do use this. It's for the movement, because slide is really nice. Allows you to travel really far distances really quickly. The melee allows you, the shiver strike allows you to travel a distance. You can knock people in the walls, kill them, knock people off the map. It's really a useful tool. It's not just a shoulder charge mechanic. It definitely took that time to kind of adjust that. It's a travel utility item versus anything, right? But the super did last for like 30, 40 44 seconds. Shiver Strike used barely any super. It did use super, but it barely. The best way to travel was with Shiver Strike. Post nerf, the best way to travel with a Titan is actually by sliding, because you have no cooldown on the slide inside the super. So you can still travel really far on the ground. You're contained to the ground, and you can use the melee for movement options, not spam it. And again, everything stasis was pretty broken. But I would definitely say that Destiny 2 is moving away from what would you call a typical skill gap with the game. They're moving away from things that we would call like, people are like stones. They don't change very easily, and they like their gameplay to not change. Well, with the corruption-based subclass that's coming in Witchgreen, I guarantee you people are going to complain about that health regen. Like, that's one thing that Thorn does, is it knocks you down for like 2-3 seconds, and then there's your health regen on top of that. It's not going to be about resilience. 100 recovery in Crucible, right? 100 recovery. 100 recovery in Crucible after taking damage. It's 1 to 2 seconds. But you still have to tack that on to the end of the corruption until it stops. That 2 to 3 second mark. So you're looking 4 to 5 seconds in a gunfight. That's 4 to 5 seconds in a game with weapons that can kill you in 0.6 seconds. Now you're talking about supers. And I don't even know what the one that's coming in Lightfall. We know it's confirmed that there is a super, a darkness-based subclass that's coming in Lightfall. So, like I said, the 4 things in this game. There's gun skill, definitely. That's what people love this game for. There's the build utility. There's the supers and the abilities. The reason why I'm putting the 2 and separating it, because you have your abilities more often than your super. But the super still doesn't play. You could say there's the subclass, then it would be 3. But I'm going to include the 2 because there is this. You have, like I said, there's the build. So, I mean, it all kind of affects. There's like 4 main things now. In D1, it used to be maybe 1, 2. I mean, you had supers, but it was just a gun game at that point. I don't think there was. I mean, there was things that were probably broken. I don't know, because I didn't play Crucible in D1. People say I missed out. But I would definitely consider seeing that kind of like checkmark lists go up to like 5 or 6 things that MMO games have. People are saying this game's never going to be an MMO. I know it's moving towards that. It's not an MMO now. It's a baby MMO. The build things in this game are bare minimum. But as more games start getting competition, Bungie's going to have to up their game. And this game will turn into an MMO action shooter as um, what Bungie wants it to be. Because with MMOs, you have builds out the wazoo. I mean, you could do things that are crazy. There are people playing that I know that are playing Outriders, and the builds are absolutely amazing. Um, Anthem was absolute. There's builds that were. I wish the Anthem would have succeeded, dude. I wanted something to challenge Destiny. The problem is right now there is no game that's challenging Destiny, so Destiny is just giving the bare minimum. But once a game challenges Destiny, they're not they can't give the bare minimum anymore because there's no games that challenge it. We need games that challenge it. We need the game industry. We need to play other games. But that's another topic for another time. Um, this isn't just going over hard data. This is just talking about like what the term "what is skill." There's definitely more skillful playstyles that require you to actually hit your shots for you to get that crispy 0.67 seconds. You know, there's things that are, but it's all on a tier list. As with all things, you have your extreme casual players, you have your casual player base, you have your dedicated player base, and then you have your elite player base. Elites are anyone I would say that is I don't know. I don't know what to classify that as, whether it's percentage, maybe 5% and down, or what have you. But I do know this: 16% of the player base has completed a raid. So I would definitely say that 16% is your dedicated player base. You have your dedicated player base, and you have your large casual player base. People that enjoy this game for what it offers. Most people love this game because you don't have cursing shoved down your throats every 15 seconds. Um, or just insane, like, gore and this and that. That's what most people play this game for, and most people play other games. It's different things. Most people love it because it's a Halo-like game, and a lot of people loved Halo. Um, so, I mean, there's a whole lot of reasons why casuals play this, the game. But the game it shouldn't be just made for casuals, and that's another video for another time on that topic: casual, dedicated, and elite. Because the rewards should get better the more dedicated you are. Again, the term of skill. What is skillful? Um, you should be rewarded for your incredible skill with that 0.67 seconds in Crucible, but you should also be rewarded for, I don't know, soloing a dungeon more than just an emblem. Again, the bare minimum. But anyways, that's it for this video. You'll have a wonderful day. Hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll come out with more Destiny content. I wasn't streaming for a bit because I was working. I am still working. I needed a bit to adjust to my job, and now that I'm adjusting to my job, I will start playing games more in the evening and morning, as I kind of work around my sleep schedule, and I'll mostly be streaming on weekends now instead of weekdays. So that's it. You'll have a wonderful day, and God bless.